In this video, we're going to take a look at the booming warehouse industry and find out who is leasing all this space. Hi, my name is Chad. I'm going to pull back the curtain on the industrial real estate market to show you that it's not just the well-known companies like Amazon, FedEx, and UPS that lease these large warehouses. In the US alone, there's over 21 billion square feet of industrial space, with nearly another 1 billion square feet currently under development. A question I often get asked is who's occupying all this space? Well, we first have to unpack what industrial real estate actually is to get to the bottom of it. It's actually a fairly broad term, so let's break it down into the following subcategories: warehouses, manufacturing properties, and flex properties. Manufacturing properties include any building where things are assembled, produced, or manufactured, and it can range from a very clean computer chip manufacturer all the way up to a heavy industrial use such as welding or machining. Flex properties have industrial zoning, but are often used for purposes other than manufacturing or warehousing. Depending on what the zoning is in each municipality, I've seen flex properties leased to bottle depots, churches, self-storage, art galleries, showrooms, and even straight office space. Flex is sort of a catch-all or miscellaneous subcategory of industrial. The last category, warehouses, has gained a lot of attention over the past few years. In the most basic sense, these properties are where products are stored for some period of time until needed. They can be called fulfillment or distribution centers, and they often feature high ceilings, racking, and large aisles to allow for forklift access. The processes that occur inside are often much more elaborate than simply storing product, so if you want to dive into this deeper, check out this video up here. But to get a better understanding of who's using all these warehouses, let's just keep it simple and accept that products get delivered to the building. These products are either repackaged to be sent out or stored for some period of time until needed. So with that all in mind, let's narrow in on all the different type of companies that need warehouse space. And let's start with an example that intuitively is the easiest to understand. This fictitious company is a local music store with a small location to display their guitars. Since retail rents can often be quite expensive, the company chooses to store most of their inventory in a warehouse located close by. This way, they have inventory available whenever needed, either to sell to their brick-and-mortar customers or to their customers who order from an online store. By the way, this strategy of having different methods of serving a customer is called omnichannel retail, and this evolving way of doing business is a major contributing factor to the e-commerce explosion. Now think of all the different types of traditional retailers who have similar operations. It can be furniture, clothing, electronics, department, or home improvement stores. We could even go deeper in that last category and include all the construction materials that need storing at some point in the cycle, such as drywall, lumber, plumbing, flooring, mechanical, and even electrical components. It's not a stretch to suggest that virtually every single product you have right now has been in several different warehouses. Even if someone makes something at home, it's difficult to imagine how the raw ingredients weren't in several warehouses at one point. But let's go back to that music store example again. In making a guitar, the raw ingredients, such as the wood, plastic, and metal, might be brought in from several different suppliers, each of which has a warehouse to store the material. When the guitars are finished by the manufacturer, they're likely stored in a warehouse until sold to the retailer. And again, that retailer might store those finished guitars in their own warehouse. This naturally leads to a remarkably complex system known as the global supply chain. It can actually be overwhelming thinking about the planning and coordination required to get raw materials from all over the world. Take an iPhone, which gets separate components from multiple countries before being assembled into its final product. And of course, all those individual components require parts and materials sourced from different places as well. And that's just one product. Now we need to consider the seemingly unlimited amount of raw, semi-raw, and finished goods going back and forth all over the world in a frantic, albeit controlled manner. It's controlled because there's a tremendous amount of infrastructure that has been built to facilitate this historically unprecedented movement of goods. This includes intergovernmental cooperation, such as free trade agreements, as well as corporate ingenuity, trained workers, sophisticated software platforms, and of course, a plethora of warehouses. While I mentioned it's common for some companies to utilize a warehouse for their own inventory, it becomes much more complex once we start looking at how larger companies utilize warehouse space. And to dive into this further, let's look at the statistic that says that 90% of Fortune 500 companies use a 3PL. So what's a 3PL? It's short for third-party logistics and describes a company that conducts the warehousing, inventory management, and order fulfillment on behalf of another company. A 3PL can be a company that occupies a single warehouse, or it can be a company that has an interconnected warehouse network over a number of different countries. There is a lot of nuance in this industry, including what they do and how they operate, so if you want to learn more, check out this video up here. For the purposes of this video, however, we just need to accept that 3PLs occupy a lot of warehouse space. And of course, there's overlap here as well. Many large companies such as Walmart and Target have their own network of warehouses, and many small companies also use 3PL services. In short, the majority of warehouse space is occupied by companies that store and ship products on behalf of their customers, or by companies that need to store their own inventory, whether that's raw, semi-raw, or finished goods. If you want to get a first-hand look at just how vast this industry is, I'd recommend spending a couple of hours on a weekend driving through your local industrial parks and start noticing all the various companies that occupy these buildings. You can also do this on Google Street View as well, but nothing beats physically driving up and down the streets in an industrial park. You'll recognize big names such as Amazon, FedEx, and UPS, of course, but you'll also discover a large portion of the inventory is leased by companies that don't have household names. And if you want to learn more about warehouses in general, check out this video right here.